Woking is part of my DNA, it's in my childhood memories, and really from quite an early stage we decided to take the exhibition out of the gallery and into the town itself. I worked with clay when I was quite young, and although I've had periods where I haven't used it, I've always come back to it as a way of starting anything.
The urban environment is changing all the time, and what sculpture does is invigorate that space. It enlivens it in an interesting way.
All sculpture is inherently theatrical. It kind of occupies space in the way that we do. And I tried to think about the way people flow through that central part of Woking. The lying figure lends itself to being in an open square. He's gazing at the sky, and actually of all the pieces I've made, people tend to be drawn towards that. I think because it's not confrontational, he's sort of in his own zone. All the pieces I make are based on real people, but I present them as anonymous figures. Thinking about that positioning of the wanderer outside the station, I mean, that bit of Woking hasn't changed since I was a kid. I know there have been some issues with, let's say, marginalised people who may be struggling in some way, and they tend to congregate in that area, and I thought that was an interesting place to have the figure. I just like the idea of finding a context for pieces that already existed that I've shown in different places. The Standing Woman, I think, is one of the most successful ones because she's in the Woking shopping centre and really does kind of disconcert people because she's 9 feet tall, but in every other respect she looks like she's in her natural habitat. It's about those people who reveal something of their inner selves sort of instinctively. For me, it's just interesting. If we look at John, the homeless guy, I mean, it's a small piece, but his life was so tenuous and so intense that just seeps out of the sculpture. With all my sculpture, I tend to avoid making anything deliberately life-size. You get that sense of them really being present while not being close to being real. And you draw different conclusions, and it works in a different way. Because what I'm trying to do with sculpture is sort of defy time, to create something that endures in a way that we can't and don't. I feel the work's had a new lease of life, and I've really enjoyed it.